There is a specific kind of quiet desperation that permeates the American suburbs. It is the rhythm of the overlooked, the repetitive beat of a life measured in missed garbage trucks, spreadsheets, and the polite, suffocating silence of a marriage that has lost its spark. This is where we meet Hutch Mansell, the protagonist of Ilya Naishuller's 2021 action thriller Nobody. To the casual observer, and indeed to his own family, Hutch is a man woven into the beige tapestry of mediocrity. He is a pushover, a man who absorbs the petty indignities of life with a hung head. However, the film serves as a violent, cathartic reminder that the most dangerous things are often those that have learned to be still. The brilliance of Nobody begins not with its action, but with its casting. If you were to cast a lethal government assassin capable of dismantling a Russian organized crime syndicate, your first thought would likely be a physical specimen like Jason Statham or Dwayne Johnson. You would look for muscles that threaten to tear through shirts. You would not look for Bob Odenkirk. Odenkirk, known globally as the slippery, fast-talking lawyer Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, possesses a face that suggests weary intelligence rather than physical menace. This counterintuitive casting is the engine that drives the entire film. Odenkirk plays Hutch not as a coiled spring ready to snap, but as a man who has spent decades meticulously rusting his own gears. He looks like a man who works at a metal fabrication plant. He looks like a man who takes the bus. He looks like a nobody. This authenticity makes his inevitable explosion into violence not just surprising, but profoundly satisfying. We are not watching a superhero take off his glasses. We are watching a broken man remember that he used to be a monster. The catalyst for this transformation is deceptively simple, borrowing a page from the playbook of Derek Kolstad, the screenwriter who also penned John Wick. Where Wick was motivated by the death of a puppy, Hutch is motivated by a bruised ego and a stolen kitty cat bracelet. When two low-level burglars break into his home, Hutch has the drop on them. He has a golf club. He has the angle. Yet, he chooses to do nothing. He lets them go. To his teenage son and his distant wife, this looks like cowardice. To the audience, teased with glimpses of his past, it looks like restraint. We realize that Hutch didn't lower the club because he was afraid of the burglars. He lowered it because he was afraid of what he would do to them. He was protecting them from himself. But the shame of that moment, compounded by the disappointment in his son's eyes, gnaws at him. It is the theft of his daughter's cheap plastic bracelet that finally provides the excuse he has been subconsciously hunting for. It is a flimsy justification, and Hutch knows it. He doesn't want justice, he wants a release valve. The centerpiece of the film, and perhaps one of the greatest fight scenes in modern American cinema, takes place on a public bus. This sequence is the moment the film sheds its skin. When a group of drunk, aggressive thugs harass a young woman on the bus, Hutch doesn't just intervene, he locks the door. The look on Odenkirk's face in that moment is chilling. It is a mixture of relief and perverse joy. "I'm going to fuck you up," he says, and he means it. Unlike the sleek, ballet-ic gun-fu of the John Wick franchise, the violence in Nobody is messy, ugly, and exhausting. Hutch gets hurt. He gets thrown through windows, stabbed, and bludgeoned. He is out of practice. He misses blocks. He runs out of breath. The choreography emphasizes the weight of the bodies and the crunch of bone against metal. It is a tactile, painful brawl that serves as Hutch's reawakening. He laughs through a mouthful of blood because he finally feels alive for the first time in years. The bus fight is not just an action scene, it is a character study in motion, revealing that Hutch's addiction to violence is just as potent as any drug. As the narrative escalates, we are introduced to the antagonist, Julian Kuznetsov, played with flamboyant menace by Alexey Serebryakov. Julian is a custodian of the Russian mob's pension fund, a man who loves karaoke and hates incompetence. While the Russian mobster trope is well-worn territory in action cinema, the film injects a darkly comic tone that keeps it fresh. Julian is terrifying, yes, but he is also a bureaucrat of crime, dealing with the logistics of money laundering while trying to enjoy a pop song. The conflict between Hutch and Julian is a collision of two worlds, the suppressed, professional violence of the auditor, and the chaotic, emotional violence of the gangster. The film delights in the escalation. What starts as a bus brawl spirals into a war involving claymore mines, gold bars, and a burning house. The script expands the mythology of Hutch's world without bogging down in exposition. We learn that Hutch was an auditor, a cleaner for the intelligence community, the guy you sent in when there was no one left to send. This backstory is delivered in fragments, often through Hutch's one-sided conversations with his half-brother Harry, over a hidden radio, or with his elderly father, David. The inclusion of Christopher Lloyd as David Mansell is a stroke of genius. Seeing the actor beloved as Doc Brown wielding a shotgun and gleefully dispatching hitmen adds a layer of surreal, joyous absurdity to the third act. The finale, set in the trapped-out warehouse of Hutch's workplace, feels like a lethal version of Home Alone. It is a playground of destruction where Hutch, Harry, and David join forces. The chemistry between the three men suggests that violence is a family trait, a genetic disposition that they have all tried, and failed, to suppress. Visually, the film utilizes a grim, desaturated palette for Hutch's domestic life, which contrasts sharply with the neon-soaked, high-contrast lighting of the criminal underworld. Director Ilya Naishuller, known for the first-person action film Hardcore Henry, shows significant restraint here, allowing the camera to linger on Odenkirk's micro-expressions. The editing is sharp, often using music as a rhythmic device to juxtaposition the mundane with the macabre. Classics like Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World or Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker are weaponized to ironic effect, underscoring the absurdity of the carnage. The soundtrack acts as an internal monologue for Hutch, expressing the joy and chaos he keeps bottled up behind his stoic expression. Ultimately, Nobody is a film about a midlife crisis solved through hand grenades rather than a sports car. It explores the dangerous allure of the glory days and the difficulty of domesticating a wolf. Hutch Mansell loves his family, but the film is honest enough to admit that he loves the fight just as much, if not more. The final scene, where Hutch receives a mysterious call while buying a new house, suggests that he cannot go back to being a nobody. The genie is out of the bottle. He has reconciled his two halves, the husband and the auditor. In a genre crowded with invincible superheroes and stoic assassins, Nobody stands out because it allows its hero to be vulnerable, rusty, and bruised. It is a love letter to the dad bods and the retirees, a fantasy that suggests beneath every gray cardigan and pair of sensible shoes, there might just be a dormant volcano waiting to erupt. It is a masterclass in pacing, tone, and action, proving that sometimes the person you should fear the most is the one you didn't notice at all.